In this lesson, you'll learn how to render a pendant and how to render engravings. We're going to render a flat white gold pendant, and we'll use our white gold disc. So we copy and drag it over to the new page with the selection tool, while pressing the Option key if you're using Mac or the Alt key if you're using Windows. Then we scale it up while pressing the Shift key to make sure that the proportions are kept, and align it on our page. We want the pendant to have a bail, so we need to pierce the surface of the disc. So we ungroup it and draw a circle at the top center with the ellipse tool. Then we select both shapes, right-click with our mouse, and select Make Compound Path. And now the disc is pierced. To bring back the highlight and shadow on top of the shape, we go up to the Object menu, scroll down to Arrange, and select Send to Back. Then we select the Rounded Rectangle tool. Click once where we want to place it, and drag it into a shape that looks like a bail. Now we create the highlight and shadow like we learned. To give the impression that our bail is higher than the disc, we make a drop shadow and leave it at 75% opacity, with a -0.02 and a 0.02 offset. Then we group the disc, its highlight and shadow, and add the same drop shadow. Now we group all elements in the pendant and make another drop shadow. Leaving the opacity at 55% and the offsets at -0.13, 0.13, and the blur at 0.1. Our bail looks too flat, so we double-click on it with the Selection tool, and then click on it again in the center to select it. We know that it's selected when we see the bounding box around it. Then we pick the shiny white gold ball color and modify it in the Gradient tool. Now we're going to learn how to render engravings with text. The text tool in Illustrator offers a lot of cool possibilities, and today we're going to explore one in particular. First, we set the fill color to empty and leave the stroke thin and black. Then we pick the pen tool. Click on our pendant where we want the line to start, and while clicking, we drag a little with the mouse so our line becomes a soft curve. Then we select the Type on a Path tool. You'll find it under the same button as the Type tool, and click at the beginning of our curve. The program automatically adds text, which is highlighted in black. To modify it, we just type in our text with a keyboard. We're going to write one of my favorite quotes by Eleanor Roosevelt. Then we copy and drag the line down. Reselect Type on a Path tool, click and drag over the text, and when it's highlighted, we continue to type. Then we repeat the same thing again until our quote is finished. To change the font, we select all of the curves and go up to set the font to italic and Bodoni Old Style. To create more fluidity in our text, we move the curves a little bit. Select the third curve and set the size to 14 points and the last to 18 points. Then we draw a new line in the bottom and type in Eleanor Roosevelt. This text is too big, so we can't see it all in our line, so we make the font size smaller. If you want to change your text curve, you can do it with the direct selection tool, clicking on the anchor points and pulling the handles. Now we'll move our text a little more in place. To give the impression of an engraving, we select all text curves and pick a gray color. Then we add a very fine drop shadow. To finish our pendant, we'll add a little diamond, so we copy and drag it together with the star from the ring. Because the pendant was made after, it appears in the foreground, so we go up to Object, Arrange, and Bring to Front to place the diamond and star on top. And we make the outline a bit thicker. Now we're going to create a graphic expression of a cord that the pendant hangs on. So we select the blob brush tool. You'll find it at the same button as the paintbrush tool. Then we click next to our bail and drag a curvy shape with a mouse on each side of the bail. With the direct selection tool, we click and drag some of the anchor points to make our lines more dramatic. As a last step, we select the lines and set the fill color to a light gray. And our pendant is done!